Basically, what we worked on was we created a search API and we created a web UI that kind of like ties into our search API. Our search API, there's a couple different components that come into play here. We have, our web UI, which is like, it's kind of like a Google search or like a Bing or something like that. We have, an application server, and the application server will talk to, a search engine. So we could go to Google, we could go to Bing, we could go to IDLE. And what we really are trying to accomplish, like what we're really trying to add to it, is that we're going to go through all the results, because like if you search for something and it says, you get 93 million hits, and like let's say that you're really looking for some like weird fact about it and it's difficult to find, this pretty much automates the process of going through all the results. And so you could set, an arbitrary number of results. You could do a search. We hook into the policy classification API, and what we do is we, pass our data through that, and we kind of classify, like there's all kinds of things that you could do. We've chosen to categorize things by, different categories, and so you'll see that I've, searched for a famous actor, and, we get back some different categories like music, movies. So you can see like 11% of the results that we looked through are, movie, or in the movie category. And so, policy engine's configurable. You could go to the policy API and you could say, I want to match a regex, and that means it's in a category, or maybe it's something different than that. So it's whatever policy provides. If they can, provide more stuff, you can do more stuff with it. It looked like it did a lot of stuff with it already. One idea we had was to tie it into like URLs, like in domains, so we could like have like a chart with what domain it belongs to. But basically, like I could search for Hillary and help. This was one of the things that I tried earlier. And it's a little slow because it has to go through all the results and it has to process them. But I think that, this is just like a hackathon implementation. Like things could be done to make this a lot faster if you were dealing with big data, like 93 million hits or, more. So, we did the search, and so that actually goes to our API. Our app server, and it goes out to Google. It gets the results. We process all the results through the policy engine, and we get the information back, and we use that to kind of like build a response that contains the information that we want to present. It's interesting because like you search for Hillary and health, and you find that some of it's 27% of our processed results are politics related. 24% is so part of it is we also split it up by content and title, so it's like 27% has politics in the content and 24% has it in the title. And 25% the title is about lifestyle, 23% the content is about lifestyle. So really it's like boiling down to lifestyle and politics and these in the categories that our search results matched. So
can you show the bottom place in the search criteria the bar chart?
Yeah, the bar chart we really didn't get to. I mean, we wanted to tie into that with this, but this is just sample data right here. So, but one other thing that I want to show you is that we actually have an API server, and you can just call the API directly, and you can say, hey, I want to do this query, and I want, some arbitrary number of results. Like if I did 50, and I run it, it's gonna think for a little bit, and it's gonna, process the information, and it's gonna respond, and I'm not gonna wait for that. Like I actually have, this right here where I use JSON-lint just to format it for you, so you can kind of see what our API returns. it gives you kind of like the title, the content, the URLs, which that's pretty much what you get back from Google and their stuff. And so we're processing all of this. It's like, how do you decide what to click on? You read, the information that Google gives you, but what if you have 93 million that you want to look at? You have to find some way to, go through all of that. And so that's what this is trying to provide. And, we pass it back some additional information based on processing, like, categories. Ultimately, we would want to do more than that. Like, we don't want to just do categories. We want to do, domains and, whatever you want to find. Like, if you're looking for a regex, and that's, what makes it a match, we could add to the API, that information, and then the UI could tie into that. So it really leverages policy document classify. And, that's basically what we have.
So one other point I can make. So this API combines two things. So one is it combines putting search results and search engine. And what you're seeing down here is, so upstairs it was, for each link, what are its parameters? And this is more of an overall view. So what it has, so for example, here it says content music, right? So what that means is we've configured to grab all these different terms from music. They can be whatever we want, musical instruments, artists, whatever. And then here it says, just hold on a second.
Sorry.
And here it says, okay, let me aggregate all of those entries that have music somewhere in the content of the page, and let me give you kind of an overall view of what that is. And we can do that for. So far, we do it for title and for content. And also do it. We can use a web crawler, navigate all the links on a page, do the same thing with them. So this is kind of an overall view.
Yep, and also, we just kind of wanted to look in here at the policy engine workflow configuration. And, in here what we do is we can set up, whatever policy provides, we can set this up, and then we can pass that back, through the web UI and kind of leverage that. Like we could have a policy and we could say, we don't want to return these links because they're completely irrelevant, or, and that could help you sift through everything. You can, like right now we're kind of like looking for things that contain certain terms, and, we could put a regex here. So a lot of this, what we've actually put in here is, it's not as relevant to the application we've created because it's so configurable that anybody can do whatever they want with it. So that's what we've done.
Just one thing, we had a lot more ideas of things we wanted to do. We were in the process of making the UI and the app server microservice for time. Initially, we want to have it tied into IDM and have like what you could see based on your roles. We decided was way too ambitious, and we also wanted to start in half and we vertical back. So we
like a week long.
This is working. Great job.
Yeah, this is very powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we wanted to. We wanted to have this dynamically built. Like you could, like the UI could input, hey, I want these 3 areas, and then you build the question sequence and generate it. So it would be much more flexible. And the thing we want, the reason we chose this is that we thought this was a good foundation, and you could do a lot more with that, like add to it. So the links work.
And the links work.
Yeah.
Awesome. Click on it.
That's it, huh? Yep.
Oh, yeah.